Dear students, welcome back to your English online classes. Well, today I am here with a very important poem from your English syllabus of class 12. The poem which I shall start today is a bit long, but the poem is an easy one if you can understand it. Well, the name of the poem is A Roadside Stand, written by the poet Robert Frost. The poem is of 51 lines. 51. It's a long poem, 51 lines. So I shall cover the first 22 lines today. First 22 lines today. So before we start the poem, I ask all my students to open your book, keep the book open in front of you and read the lines as I proceed discussion of the poem. Well, first of all, the poem A Roadside Stand is written by whom? Is written by Robert Frost. His full name is Robert Lee Frost. Robert Lee L-W. Robert Lee Frost. Robert Lee Frost. Alright. He was born on March 26, 1874 and died on January 29, 1963. Well, Robert Frost was a poet of nature. He was a highly acclaimed American poet of the 20th century. He wrote about people, characters, landscape. He wrote about what? People, characters, landscapes. He wrote about people's characters, landscapes. His poems are concerned with human tragedies and fears. His poems are concerned with what? Human tragedies. Human tragedies, fears, and his reaction to the complexities of life and his ultimate acceptance of the burdens of life. He was much admired for his realistic depictions of rural life of England, of New England. Robert Frost, he was frequently honored during his lifetime. He was frequently honored during his lifetime and is the only poet to receive 4 Pulitzer Prizes in poetry. His poems are very much realistic. In his poems, in most of his poems, we will see he has presented human lives very nicely, and the acceptance of the burdens, of the problems faced by humans are portrayed in most of his poems. Like some of his best known poems are Stopping by Woods on a Snowy Evening, Mending Wall, Beaches. These are his well-known poems. So the poem which is our point of discussion is also a very famous and well-known poem. The name of the poem is what? A Roadside Stand. Well, now, what is the poem A Roadside Stand about? What is the poem about? First of all, let us just see the title, A Roadside Stand. What is the meaning of roadside stand? A roadside stand is actually a small shop or a stall which is built or made by the side of a road to sell some things, to sell some items, to sell somewhat items. Well, in this poem, in the poem Roadside Stand, what will we see? In the poem Roadside Stand, the poet deals with the lives of poor, deprived people with pitiless clarity, and at the same time he portrays his deepest sympathies for the poor people and also his feelings of humanity. So what is the poem about? In this poem we will see he has presented what? He has presented the lives of poor, deprived people. He has presented the lives of rural, deprived people. He has presented the lives of rural, deprived people of the village, with pitiless clarity. He has presented the lives of rural deprived people of the village with pitiless clarity, and at the same time, he portrays his deepest sympathies and his feelings of humanity. Now see, what is the meaning? He has presented the lives of rural, deprived people of the village with pitiless clarity, and at the same time he portrays his deepest sympathies and his feelings of humanity. So in this poem we will see the village people, the rural people, the deprived people. They faced a lot of problems in their daily life, which the poet has presented with a very deep sympathy and with a sense of humanity for them. This poem also shows us a great contrast between the city people. This poem also shows us a contrast between the rich people or the city people with that of the poor, deprived people of the village. Clear? This poem shows us a great contrast between the comfortable life of the city dwellers, and the problems, harshness faced by the impoverished rural people. Let me tell you again what is the poem about. See, this poem shows us a contrast between the comfortable life of the city dwellers. Contrast between the comfortable life of the city dwellers with that of the impoverished rural people. This poem is a contrast between the comfortable life of the city dwellers with that of the impoverished rural people. If I tell you again in a very simple language, I will tell you that in this poem, the poet has shown us a contrast between the life of the rural people with that of the village people. Alright? So, this is the theme of the poem. Well, now let's start line by line discussion, or I can say explanation of the poem. Well, before we start the poem, I shall ask all my students to read the information given about the poet on top of the page. See what's written. Read it once and I am sure you will understand it because the lines are written in a very simple and easy language. Well, now let's start the poem. A roadside stand. I repeat, what is a roadside stand? A roadside stand is a shop or a stall which is built by the side of a road, usually set up by rural people to sell their goodies, to sell the things, to get some money by which they can live their living nicely. Clear? Okay. Now see, the poem starts like this. The little old house was out with a little new shed in front at the edge of the road where the traffic sped. So the first line, the little old house was out with a little new shed. Second line, in front at the edge of the road where the traffic sped. The poem starts like this. There was a small old shop. There was a small old shop, and that small old shop was expanded till the road. Why? Because the shed was expanded in order to attract the passers-by, so that whenever somebody or someone passes by the roadside, that shed, that expanded shed catches the eye of the passers-by, and the passers-by comes and notice the roadside stand in front at the edge of the road where the traffic sped. So where was the roadside stand set up? Where was the roadside stand built? The answer is in the second line, in front at the edge of the road where the traffic sped. That roadside stand was in front at the edge of the road, means on one side of the road, and the road was very busy. Traffic sped. What do you mean by this? Traffic sped. S-P-E-D. Past participle of speed. Speed, past participle is sped. Speed, past participle is sped. So traffic sped means the road usually remains busy, continuously one by one. Cars used to pass. So the road was very busy, and by the side of that busy road, the roadside stand was built. A small old house was built and a shed was expanded. Why? To attract the eye of the passers-by. A roadside stand that too pathetically plaid. A roadside stand that too pathetically plaid. See this line. A roadside stand that too pathetically plaid. A roadside stand that too pathetically plaid. A roadside stand that too pathetically plaid. The sentence means that the people who are running the roadside stand, or the people who have set up the roadside stand, they are very polite people, they are very humble, they are very down to earth people. So they request, plead means past tense of please, request. P-L-E-M-P means request, past tense of please. So the people who has put up the roadside stand, they request their customer, or they talk to the customer, or they ask the customer, they talk to the customer in a very polite manner, in a very humble manner. So it is said the people who are running the roadside stand, they request in a very polite manner to buy their goodies. So the poet has mentioned the word pathetic. Why? To show us their condition. The poet has used the word pathetic. Why? To show us their condition. Their condition was very bad. The condition was like this: if they are not able to sell their goodies which are there in their shop, they may not be able to live their living. So money from the city people, money by selling their goodies, selling their items, was very important for them for survival even. So see, a roadside stand that to pathetically planned. Pathetically planned means to request in a very polite and humble manner. Roadside stand is a shop. A shop cannot request somebody, right? A shop cannot request somebody. A shop is a non-living thing. How can a shop request somebody? Not possible. So means the people actually who are running the roadside stand, the people who are running the roadside stand, they request very pathetically. So this is an example of what? Personification. This is an example of what? Personification. Now see, example of personification. Now what is personification? When an object or an idea or an animal is given human qualities, that is called personification. When an object or an idea or an animal is given human qualities, is given a human quality, that is called a personification. So we are giving human quality here. So the people who are running the roadside stand, they are requesting in a very polite manner. So this is an example of what? Personification. Now I repeat, what is personification? Personification is when a object or an idea or an animal is given human qualities, that is called personification. Pathetically planned here is the human feeling that are attributed to something. Clear? Okay. Now come to the next line. It would not be fair to say for a dole of bread. See, another new word, dole of bread. Dole of bread. What does this mean? It would not be fair to say for a dole of bread. The point here is telling it will not be good, it will not be okay if anybody say that the people who has put up the roadside stand, they have put up their stand, they have put up their shop for donation. Dole of bread means you can say donation. Alright? The point is telling the roadside stand people, they have not set up their shop for a donation. They do not add anything in free. They do not add, they do not want anything, they do not need anything in free. They have put up the roadside stand in the hope of earning money by selling their goodies. Alright? The next line. But for some of the money, the cash whose flow supports the flower of cities from sinking and withering faint. But the people have put up the roadside stand for what? For money. For money. That money which supports the city people, which supports the rich people, which supports the city dwellers from ruining their life or from going their life downwards. The way money helps the city people to move or to live their life nicely. Same like this, the poor people, the village people who have put up their roadside stand, they need money, they need cash money to have a good living. See, here is another important line. The flower of cities. The flower of cities from sinking and withering faint. See, important. The flower of cities. The flower of cities from sinking and withering faint. The flower of cities from sinking and withering faint. What do you mean by flower of cities? Flower of cities means the refined people, the rich people of the city, refined people. Or the rich people. The refined people or the rich people. So the flower of cities from sinking and withering faint. Just like the way money helps the life of rich people from ruining or from being destroyed. Same like this, that money is required for the rural people also, for the village people also to have a good living. Alright, now see, the flower of cities. This is an example of metaphor. This is an example of what? Metaphor. Now what is metaphor? Metaphor is a figure of speech in which a comparison between two different things are shown. What is metaphor? Metaphor is a comparison between two different things without using like or as. Now see, the flower of cities here means the city people. A comparison is made between the city people, between the refined people, between the people who have a luxurious life, who there are flower, who there are flower, the flower of cities. So here comparison is made between two different things. Comparison made between the rich people with their flower. So it is a comparison between two different things. Just like the way the flower are, we can say beautiful. So like this, the rich people, the city people, the life of the rich people is also beautiful. So a comparison is made between two different or dissimilar things. That is a metaphor. Let me give you a very nice example of metaphor. If I say, he is the sunshine of my life. See, what is sunshine? Sunshine means the sun will shining. Sunshine. So, how can a person be sunshine of someone's life? This sunshine here means very important, a very important part of life. So here life is being compared with sunshine. Importance is compared here. Alright, the importance is compared here. So this is another example of metaphor. Alright, clear? Okay, now let us move to the next. The policed traffic passed with a mind ahead. See, another important line. The policed traffic passed with a mind ahead. The policed traffic passed with a mind ahead. The policed traffic passed with a mind ahead. The police traffic passed with a mind ahead. The police traffic here means again the city people. The city people. The police traffic passed with a mind ahead. The police traffic, it means what? The city people or the rich people. The people, the rich people, the city people, whenever they pass by the road, whenever they pass the roadside stand, they do not bother to notice, or they do not bother even to stop in front of the roadside stand with the mind ahead. They just sit in their car, look straight and move on in their car. They even do not bother to stop, or they do not bother to notice the roadside stand. Purchasing things comes next. Even they do not bother to stop. So the meaning of this sentence is this. But here another important thing is the police traffic passed with the mind ahead. Police traffic is an example of transferred epithet. This is another figure of speech. Transferred. Transferred, T-R-A-N-S-F-E-R-R-E-D. Transferred epithet. Transferred epithet. What is transferred epithet? When an adjective usually used to describe one thing is transferred to another. When an adjective usually used to describe one thing is transferred to another is called transferred epithet. See, before coming to police traffic, let me give you one example of transferred epithet. See, I had a wonderful day. I had a wonderful day. Example of transferred epithet. See, I had a wonderful day. The day in itself cannot be wonderful. The day in itself cannot be wonderful. This is the experience of the speaker. The speaker here has experienced a very wonderful day. The speaker has experienced a wonderful day here. The day in itself cannot be wonderful. So this is an example of transferred epithet. What is transferred? It is an adjective. Usually is to describe one thing. Is transferred to another. Is transferred to another. Like, see, police traffic. How can traffic be policed? This is not possible. Police traffic means the very refined people, the comfortable, the sophisticated, the people who are having sophisticated life. They are called police. Traffic here means the people. So the rich people or city people or the sophisticated people of the cities are called police traffic. So this is an example of what? Transferred epithet. Hope you are clear. Okay, let's come to the next line. See the next line. Or if ever aside a moment, then out of sorts, and having the landscape marred with the artless paint of signs that with N turn wrong and S turn wrong. So normally till now we have seen the city people who pass by the roadside, they do not stop. They do not stop nearby the roadside stand, or they do not stop in front of the roadside stand. If sometime they stop, if sometime for any reason they stop, then out of sorts means irritated, disturbed. They become irritated, they become disturbed. Now why? And having the landscape marred with the artless paint. And having the landscape marred with the artless paint. Marred means ruined. Marred means ruined or spoiled. M-A-R-R-E-D, marred. Marred means what? Spoiled or ruined. And having the landscape marred with the artless paint. See, in rural areas, this comes to our notice. This comes to our notice frequently. In our areas, there are some shops we will see the board which is pasted in front, or which is pasted in front of the shop. Those boards are not beautiful. Those are just painted very roughly. So looking those artless paint, looking those rough paintings in front of the shop, they become irritated and they tell that This board, this painting has even destroyed the beauty of the landscape. Of signs that will N turn wrong and S turn wrong, and even here this is an example of most of our real life. See, whenever we travel by a car, mostly, or sometimes by train also, we'll see some arrow marks are there by the side of the road, which shows the direction. Alright, which shows the direction, something like that, which shows direction, something like that. It shows direction, north south, right? It shows what? North south direction. Which shows north south direction. Alright, but here according to the city people, those signs which shows north or which directs south are even wrong, and that may mislead the people. So this is another reason why they become irritated. Offered for sale wild berries in wooden pots or crook neck golden squash with silver words. Now these two sentences shows that what are the things that were offered for sale in the roadside stand. Wild berries. Wild berries is a kind of fruit. Wild berries are kept in wooden pots. Wooden pots means wooden container kind of thing, wooden boxes. Or crook neck golden squash with silver words. Golden squash, it's a vegetable. Crook neck means the upper part of the vegetable is bent, is crooked, which signifies that this is their own product. This vegetable probably they have grown in their own area, and with silver words, and on the outer cover of that vegetable there are some small bulgings. There are some lines of silver color or some bulgings. Some bulgings on the outer cover of the vegetable. So these are the two things which are offered for sale in the roadside stand. What are the two things? Number one, wild berries. Number two, golden squash. For beauty rests in a beautiful mountain scene. So what is said here? Beauty rests in a beautiful mountain scene. The sceneries are beautiful. Alright, the sceneries are beautiful. The beauty, whenever the roadside stand, whenever the city people pass by the road, they see the scenery, and those are beautiful. There is no problem about the scenery. The sceneries are beautiful. The mountscape, the mountains, the landscapes, these things are beautiful. No doubt, there is no problem in it. But see the problem. You have the money, but if you want to be mean, why keep your money this closely and go along? The point here is telling to the city people from the mouth of a farmer, that is from the mouth of poor people. What is it? That you may have money, alright, that we accept it. If you have money, that is to the city people, to the rich people. But if you want to be miser, if you want to be mean, if you do not want to spend your money, then just keep your money in your pocket and go along. Don't please stop nearby the roadside stand. Don't show your ugly expression, which hurts the rural people, which hurts the village people. So better not to stop. This closely is written in bracket because this is said in a very angry expression. This is said in a very angry mood that if you don't want to spend your money, keep your money in your pocket and move along. Don't just stop here, show your ugly faces and irritate and disturb the people, the farmer who has put up the roadside stand in the hope of earning some cash money. The heart to the scenery wouldn't be my complaint so much as the trusting sorrow of what is unsaid. The poet here is telling that he has no complaint about the scenery. He has no complaint about the scenery. And he has no problem that the that the rich people say that the Artless Paint has even destroyed the landscape, has even destroyed the beauty of the mountains. He has no problem in it. What is his actual complaint? His actual complaint is so much is the trusting sort of what is unsaid. The poet is worried about the unsaid sufferings of his. The poet is worried about the untold, unsaid suffering of the farmers, of the rural people, of the poor people who has put up the roadside stand. See, trusting sorrow. What does this mean? Trusting sorrow. The people who has put up the roadside stand, that is the rural people, the farmers, they sit the entire day in their shop in the hope of getting some cash money from the city people. They trust the city people. They have a big hope on the city people. They will come and buy their things. But that hope is being broken, and that hope is transformed into sorrow. That is what sorrow, what is unsaid. And that sorrow is not being expressed by the rural people. That is what poet is telling. The poet is telling that his real complaint, he is much worried about the untold, unsaid suffering of his people, of the rural people. Here, far from the city, we make our roadside stand. We here means the farmers, the rural people, the village people. Here, far from the city, we make our roadside stand and ask for some city money to fill in hand, to try if it will not make our being expand. The rural people are telling that we come from a far away place, we come from a distant place, hey, and we have put up our stand here. Why? We have put up our roadside stand and we ask for some city money. We ask the people of the city to purchase our things so that we get some cash money in return. What to do with that cash money? They want to try. They also want to expand their life by money. We all want luxurious life. We all want to expand our life. We all want luxuries in our life. This is a human nature, human psychology. Same like this, the people who have put up the roadside stand, they also want to expand their life. They also want to live a good life. But cash money is very important for a good living. So they want cash money. They require cash money from the city people by selling their goodies. That is why they ask the city people to help them by purchasing their goodies. And give us the life of the moving pictures promise that the party in power is said to be keeping from us. And give us the life of the moving pictures promise that the party in power is said to be keeping from us. They see the movies, the life which are shown in movies are very sophisticated, are very stylish, are very luxurious. So the political parties who come to the rural people before election and ask them to vote them, in return of which they will give them something very sophisticated, but they do not give the life, the luxurious life which the political parties are not giving. That life they wanted from the city people also. How? If the city people provide them money by selling their goodies, that will be possible. But even the city people, they also did not provide the rural people that life. So that life is not being provided to them by the city people also. And even here the mention of political parties, the mention of party in power is described to us by the poet. What is he saying? That the party in power is said to be keeping from us. Party in power means ruling party, means government. Here we see the political parties, they come to the rural people and they ask them to vote them, in return of which they will provide them money, etc., and good life. The rural people, they are not that much smart, they are not that much educated. They just accept, they just believe the words of the rural people, of the politicians. They they blindly believe the political parties, they blindly believe the politicians. But after election, the rural people are not being provided, the rural people are not given what they were once promised by the ruling party, or the things which they were once promised by the politicians, they were not provided. Ultimately, they were fooled. So everywhere we see the rural people are in deep pain. Till now we have seen the rural people are continuously suffering. Their hopes are being destroyed, their trust are being ruined, are being spoiled. The aim for which they have put up the roadside stand were not fulfilled till now. They come from a distant place, they set up a stand in the hope of what? In the hope of earning cash money from the city people, because cash money is very important for a good living, for a good survival. But they do not get that cash money. Why? Because the roadside, the city people, they do not bother to even stop purchasing of things from their shop. Comes next, first thing is they even do not bother to stop in front of the roadside stand and notice what are the things present. So their goodies, their things are not being sold, and ultimately they remain in their shop. They remain seated in their shop disheartened. Alright, so let us stop here for today. In my next video, I shall discuss the remaining lines of the poem. Hope I could make you understand. If still you have some doubt, you have any confusion, you can call me, you can text me, you can talk to me and solve your queries. Well, dear students, read the poem once, listen to the explanation again and again, and I am sure you will understand the explanation nicely.